Your Kanye's also excuse me, from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
How motivation is it to see him local become this global icon what he became?
Let me tell you something. That College Dropout album, I bought it with 4 other comedians, and we drove around listening to it. You know, no matter what, you know, Kanye said and done a lot of stuff since then. That College Dropout album for Chicago, like if you talk to other Chicago people who's, you know, stars or whatever, we all was like, yo, that was like that person. We like, yo, he's a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it his way. He's an underdog. And then, like, especially for like the nerd group, the backpack group, you know what I'm saying? You know, wearing your sweaters, and, it was, man, it was life changing. One of my cards at that time, I used to call myself the Kanye of comedy. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so inspired by, like, dude, he did it his way, his voice. He loved it so much that he, like, got in these rooms with Jay-Z. They had to show him love.
Right.
Like, even when you watch the Yeezus documentary, The Last Dance and that documentary give me chills sometimes because I remember the moments. Like, I watched Last Dance.
You know where you were when you saw it.
And I know how it inspired me. And so I get goosebumps when I watch Yeezus and I see Kanye when he paid for his first video, the Through the Wire video. And you see D-Ray in the video. And you see Harold's Chicken in the video. You see, it's so Chicago. And it's #1 on 106 and Park. And it's the most localist video you could ever do, but around the world, it's the #1 video.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I was inspired by that. Like his rise, like I wouldn't be, like Chicago, we do have a sense of, how do I say it? It's not like cocky. It's like, we really confident. Chicago cats are like insanely confident. Mm-hmm. And that's because, you know, I told you how I grew up and things I saw. So like, if I'm able to get out of all that, like, I'll be all right. That's why coming to LA, I was coming here to dominate.
Right.
When I was hitting the stages here, I love when they used to put me up in the new face part or something. Because the next time you got to put me on the show, I went too hard. So they're like, man, we got to put him on the regular show. He can't do the opener thing no more because he going too hard. So I used to come here with like, I was coming here being a problem. Chicago made me feel like a star. And I did all the grinding. I had like, shouts out to Mary Lindsay, who owned Jokes in Those Comedy Club, gave me a spot every single week that I could freestyle on stage and do new material and just develop my own audience and learn the business of comedy. Because I had to learn how to hustle my own shows.
Right. Because
nobody want to go book me like this. So I had to book my own, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so like, man, I'm glad you brought Ye up. Man, you know, look, Kanye's a lot. But in that beginning stage, I love Kanye for how he inspired us, man.
So what about the latest rant? Where are you?
Katt says something I agree with, right? I don't understand how, if we saying somebody talking crazy, and like, we all got family members that talk hella crazy. Mm-hmm. Do we really pay attention to them? No. Do we take everything they say like, oh man, this is what we gonna take? No.
But they don't have the platform that he has.
But even though he has the platform,
they're not as influential as he is.
But is it really influencing anybody?
You see what happened when they took Yeezus off from Adidas?
Yeah.
So you tell me if that influence or not.
But here we go. They actually, but they took it away from him and then they needed him again.
Yeah.
You gotta understand something. This is a person who know who they are, they know their business, and they know what they had to offer. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so because of that, like, as much as they be like, we done, these like, we're done with him. And then you see months later, like, well, we gotta
sell the rest of the product.
Yeah, we gotta give him his money anyway, because we bought all the product. Yeah, so he know his business. Mm-hmm. I just think Ye, you know, I think Ye just talk better in music. Sometimes I think he just makes songs like, stop talking regular, just make a song.
He lost his mother. You lost your mother at a young age.
Yeah.
Do you think he hasn't healed from that? Because he was very, very close to his mom. And I don't know the relationship. So maybe you can correlate, maybe you can say, okay, well, this is the type of relationship that I had with my mom, and this is how I dealt with it. And so maybe we can have a better understanding of what Kanye is going through, dealing with the tragedy and the sudden loss of his mom.
I think, it's funny you say that. So I'll go to therapy. Mm-hmm. And it took years for me to do that. And I didn't realize how much, my mom died in 2009, but it was still affecting me this whole time. You know, it wasn't until I had like a panic attack on my stairs one day, and I've never had one before. I was on my way to set and I couldn't stop crying. And my assistant came in and she was like, you know, she could tell, you know, and she'd been talking to me about going to therapy actually, which is interesting. I'm like, well, pull them up. Let me talk to somebody. And my first session was literally about how I really never mourned and got over my mother's death. And a lot of us go through that, you know, not just Ye, you know, and I hope she don't mind me even saying this, with my good friend Tiffany Haddish. She's one of my best friends. And, we, you know, we talked about this. And some of us tend to go busy, right? We go busy. We don't.
That's how you deal with it.
That's how we deal with it. And you're not dealing with it. You're not dealing with it.
Right.
And so for me, you know, when I you know, and she was just saying this, she was just talking about how like she had to slow down and just deal with it. She thought her working would help. And it does. All it does is make you more tired, first of all.
Yes.
You physically, outside of mentally and spiritually, you're just tired now. Because now you're trying to make up for something that you can't make up for. And so when I went to, you know, I had my first therapy session and we broke that down, and I didn't realize how like, damn, I'm still like, I was still like I didn't give myself space to mourn.
Was it because you were like so busy in the comic and the thing, and you're trying to grow your career that you didn't take time to mourn because you didn't feel like you had that? Because you said, I got to strike while the iron's.
Well, we say career, right? I think it's career, and I think it's blackness.
Okay.
I think it's black people. We've always been told to just
get over it, move on.
Push through it. You got to push through it, and which is fine. You should push through things. But like, it's okay to be hurt by somebody you extremely love.
Yes.
Being gone. That you love, that's done. Like, I didn't realize that, you know, and once again, therapy opened up a lot of doors for me. I didn't realize that was something. I didn't realize all the other traumas, seeing, young people, like all that stuff was a part of it. And, you know, when I look at and I remember telling somebody this a while ago, and I remember watching a documentary. And I had to pause it because I really got emotional because I started seeing his pain. I could relate to it. Like, dang, that brother's still hurting. And which is why you got to be careful who you let into your life too, man. You know, especially as black people, our pain comes from so many different places. Our personal pain along with like generational cultural pain. And if you don't have people who can recognize that around you, that's a thing, that's a problem. And then when you're making all this money for people, they extremely don't care.
Right.
You know, and I think Ye still goes through that a lot of the times. You know, he's still like lashing out at people who really care about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because when you're hurt, it doesn't matter. I mean, you take an animal that's hurt, you might be trying to help it. All it knows is hurt, and it's going to lash out, even though you're trying to get it the attention that it needs to get better.
Yeah.
So those people, as you mentioned, because he's hurt and he's dealing with what he's dealing with, he doesn't understand the people that's in his life that's actually trying to help him.
That's what's interesting. Like when you know what's funny? The one thing we don't talk about, if I could be honest, I think Kanye's on the spectrum. I was watching, once again, Yeezus again, and the way his mom would talk to him. I have my youngest son, he's 6, he has autism. It's a language, man. It's a way you have to talk. And I'm watching things she's saying, and I'm like, oh, wow. Which makes it even more fascinating to me that he was able to even function and do all these great things. But I'm like, that's why she was able to say certain things. You think about it, she's the only one who's been able to speak his language. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's fast. I was watching, they was walking through a field, I think on the south side near the old house, and you know, and I think that's one of the things I hope. I don't know if Kanye talks to anybody. And I've always said this before, like, you know how sometimes you wish you could be friends with somebody?
Yes.
Kanye's one of them. It's people that's passed away I wish I was friends with. I wish I was friends with Luther Vandross. I wish I was friends with Whitney Houston. You know, I wish I was friends with Richard Pryor. I wish I could have just talked to them, you know, especially, you know, like I bring up Luther because I was seeing an interview with Patti LaBelle, and she was like, you know, as much as Luther never wanted to publicly say he was gay, because he didn't want to, Patti LaBelle said he didn't want to disappoint his fans or his mother. And that's wild to me.
Right.
And I wish, you know, you wish you had the friend to be like, man, do you, brother? what your gift got to do with
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And you know, it's same thing with Whitney. I feel like a lot of these guys, especially in our business, are in so much pain. And you know, Kanye's one of those dudes. Let's think about it. I've ran into Kanye a million times. We've been around. Like we all got the same friend.
Right.
But it's like one of those things where like if anybody ever could sit down and just have like with nobody around conversation with, I would love to do that because I think I could still watch somebody dealing with that type of pain from his mom and he doesn't give it moments. I give it moments now.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before two something.